Can you believe I made this spectacular arrangement from flowers I grew in the garden? Hi, welcome to another video. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Katherine Bergman. I'm a floral designer with over 30 years experience, and I share with you weekly videos on all things flowers. Today we're going to make this spectacular arrangement from David Austin roses that I grew in my garden. So let's get started. So every year at this time of year, I like to do an arrangement featuring this beautiful miniature climber I have. I don't know the name of the rose. It was a gift given to my mother many, many years ago. And it was just a 6-inch little miniature rose. We had no idea it was going to be a monster of a climber. It's spectacular and only blooms once a year. It's not a Cecile Brunner. It is different. The habit's a little different and the flowers are a little darker. These perfect little miniature rosettes on long arching canes. Right now it's over a small pergola and it's just a delightful rose. So those of you who've been watching me for a long time know that I love to make sort of arches with flowering branches or, this climbing rose. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make sort of like a basket handle design in this sort of antique bronze urn. I just greened in slightly with some peony foliage in here. And I'm going to show you how we're going to use these long arching rose branches. Now, this is a very long one. What I did was the end that goes into the foam, the cut end is over here. And then this end, I have tied a wired pick. Wire picks are just wooden picks with a little copper wire on them. We use them all the time and they're very useful. And then what I'm going to do is set this into the foam on this end so that it has a water source. And then we're going to just place this end with the wire pick over here to create our arch. Voila. Pretty easy, right? And then we're going to repeat that on this side since there's kind of a bald spot over here. It's always nice to have 2 or 3 stems just to kind of have a larger arch or a fuller arch is what I'm trying to say. Same thing, I put the cut end here on the opposite side and then the wire pick end over here on this side. And that's kind of reinforces your arch and it makes it look fuller. So we're all done with that part. And I have also little side shoots of the little roses, but we're not going to use it yet. I want to create the focal point. These I'm going to use throughout the arrangement so that you have continuity of this material in the rest of the arrangement. But we're going to use some larger roses for our focal point. This is the most beautiful time of year in my garden. All the roses are just starting to bloom, and today I'm going to use a lot of the David Austin roses that I grow. I'm going to start with this incredible violety pink rose called the Huntington rose. One of my favorites in the garden. It's a David Austin rose and it looks like a peony, doesn't it? And we're going to create sort of like focal point, sort of an off-center focal point on each side. And I do want this to be a 2-sided arrangement. So we're going to go ahead and add it to the arrangement. I'll show you what I have here. See, we've got a focal point, but it's kind of off-center. The reason I want it to be off-center is because I think it's a little more sophisticated that way. I mean, we're going to add tons and tons of flowers in, so we're going to have lots of, we're going to have this focal point, but it's not going to be the only one. We're going to have lots of flowers in it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you my thinking process, which is to add these to the diagonal. And then here's a paler pink rose called Earth Angel. I'm going to add that in the center. And sort of like a basket arrangement, when I do arrangements like this, I don't want it to go above our arch, right? We want the arch to show. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just add more flowers in here. Here's another stem of Earth Angel. And here's a gorgeous rose called Boscobel or Boscobel. I'm not sure. Those of you who are watching me from England, please leave me a comment to let me know if I'm butchering the Queen's English. Just spectacular, this rose. Look at that. Doesn't it look like peonies? I love the colors. There's another Boscobel, Boscobel, not sure how it's pronounced. Okay. This is a great arrangement to make with your garden roses because the height of the arrangement is achieved by the arch that we're creating. So if you have shorter stems in the garden, you can still use them to make a spectacular large arrangement without having to have long stems. Here's another violety pink rose that I love called Queen Anne. This is another David Austin rose. And I planted this 3 or 4 years ago, and now they're just spectacular. Add that in on this side here. And I think I'm going to stop adding the big roses. Now I'm going to add in the smaller roses. These are just side shoots from the large arching canes. Now, it's a gigantic rose in my garden, so I just cut it aggressively every year. And so what I like to do is add some of this to the side of the arrangement, kind of like cascade out at the base of the arch, so that the arch looks like it's kind of growing from there, and it emphasizes the shape of our urn. See how adding this kind of makes it more romantic and charming as it cascades down? Okay. The challenge with using these garden roses is some of them have a lot of thorns, more than your usual roses that you buy from the flower market. There were a lot of thorns. And because we want to use them in long pieces, I couldn't even use my thorn stripper. I had to just go through and cut all the thorns off one by one. Okay. So we're almost done. This arrangement looks pretty good as it is. I cut a ton of stuff to use. I don't think I need all of it. I did cut some red roses, but I think I'm going to leave it mostly pink. Yeah, I don't think I want to use the red ones in here. Let me see if I want to use any more of the Queen Anne rose. Maybe I'll add one over here on the side. A little less bloomed out one with the little lacy buds. And I cut all these pale pink roses over here to use. This one has a nice long stem. This is the Earth Angel. So you'll find that when you grow a lot of different roses, some roses have longer stems than others. A lot of the garden roses have short stems. So I'm always coming up with ideas where we can use our garden roses short. Okay, that's gorgeous. I also cut some white roses, some Glam's Castle, but you know what? I think I will leave this a pink arrangement. I'm not going to use it. Okay. For a filler, I have these lacy Viburnum that I cut. A few years ago, strangely, my snowball Viburnums started having this, I don't know if it was a sport or something, of this lacy Viburnum. On the same bush, you will have the snowballs and these. And I actually love these. So I like these almost as much as the snowballs, because the snowballs after they bloomed, it's been a couple of weeks since they've started blooming. They are getting really large, almost too large to use in arrangements, and they're going to start shedding. These are still very fresh and a little lacier and easier to use. So I'm going to use a little bit of this as filler in here. A little goes a long way, right? It's like, mimics like Queen Anne's lace and the things like that, all the stuff that I love. Okay, do I need another stem here? Maybe. And when you have a stem like this and you don't want to put a really big stem in, you could cut it like this. And then this you can still use, right? To cut it in segments so you don't waste any materials. Just putting it a little bit lacy around the edges of my arrangement. You know what? I think that's almost too much. I'm going to just take a couple of the things off. Here's one with a lot of greenery still. The snowball viburnum is a wonderful addition to the garden. It's gorgeous in the spring, of course, when it's blooming. And then you'll have beautiful green foliage to use during the growing season. And by fall, you have spectacular color. So if you're not growing it, I would highly recommend you grow some snowball viburnum. Okay. I think we're mostly done. I don't want to overstuff this. I wanted it to feel airy and light and romantic. I might add a little bit of the viburnum greenery over here, just to have a little bit of something cascading out the front here. I like how it's like kind of tendrily right here. I might do some over here as well. See how the viburnum is a beautiful greenery too? And as long as you include some of that woody stem, it lasts really well. It's not going to last well if you just do it, if you just cut the tender growth right now to use, but it'll be fine if you include some of that woody stem, that part in the, put that part in the oasis, in the floral foam. So we're all done. This is really, really gorgeous. Exactly the kind of arrangement I love. This arrangement combines my two favorite hobbies, gardening and floral design. For those of you who are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. Click the little bell to be notified when I put out a new video. And my subscribers who watch every week, you know I love you guys and love hearing from you. So leave me a comment to let me know what you're doing this week. Meanwhile, don't stop smelling the roses, and I will see you in my next video.